I got a cord.
Oh, I have the block.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just plug in?
No, absolutely not. Let's see. Oh, which type of iPhone?
This one.
The little one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all good.
Awesome, thank you.
No worries. Where are you guys from? Charlottetown, the Guardian. There's an outlet that's being used. You might have some luck. You know what? If you want, you want to use that guy? I mean, I think I'm pretty good
That's
for now.
really kind, but here's what will happen. I'll walk off.
Yeah.
Don't put too bad.
Okay.
I'm at 22.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. No worries.
Teamwork.
Oh, shucks. Hey, so do I need to rotate it? All right, cool. All right, sounds good. Horizontally, yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right, see you. here, folks.
Hello, bonjour, good afternoon. Thank you all very much for your patience this afternoon. My name is Alicia Bartlett. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Fredericton Police Force, and I will be your moderator today. On the stage with me, we have Chief Leanne Fitch from the Fredericton Police Force, Deputy Martin Gaudette, Fredericton Police Force, Chief Superintendent Ross White from the RCMP, Mayor Mike O'Brien, and Premier Brian Gallant. Following each of the speakers, we will take a few brief questions. Chef adjoint Gaudette est ici disponible pour des questions en français. So we will begin with Chief Fitch.
It's with great sadness that I'm speaking with you here today. This is the worst moment for any chief of police and any police agency to have to deliver this news. It's been a very difficult day for our officers and residents of our fine city as we come to terms with the violent deaths of 4 of our people in our city, 2 of which, as you know, are officers. It's one of the most difficult tasks to inform you of the identities of the two fallen officers that we lost this morning in the line of duty. 45-year-old Lawrence Robert Costello, a 20-year veteran of the Fredericton Police Force. He has worked on various teams throughout his career, and he leaves behind his partner and 4 children. 43-year-old Sarah May Burns has been on the force for 2 years and served as an auxiliary officer for 2 years prior to that. She leaves behind her husband and 3 children. We also send our sympathies to 2 families of the other victims that lost their lives this morning. We are not in a position at this time to release their names. At this time, I can tell you that I'm extremely proud of the members of the Fredericton Police Force, our ambulance services, other frontline services, the public, council, those of you in the community that have reached out to us in support. I want to thank the RCMP for answering our initial call to come and assist. They are dealing with some of our calls for service now, and they will be taking on the homicide investigation of the 4 people who were killed this morning. Also, I've reached out to the Serious Incident Response Team in Nova Scotia, an independent investigative body who will be doing the police officer-related shooting aspect of the investigation. On a bit of a personal note, as I was traveling home from business in Halifax this morning early, I listened to the transactions with our officers on the radio, with our emergency responders and our frontline officers and my senior command staff. And during this most difficult time, in this dark time, I can say with certainty that the citizens of Fredericton were being exceptionally well served, and that those that were killed this morning were taken very good care of. And I couldn't be prouder of the men and women that serve the city. And I want to reassure the public that we will continue to do so in the coming days and months and years ahead. I also want to give thanks to the Kennebecasis Regional Police Service. Wayne Gallant, chief there, reached out this morning, and he will be doing the coordination for us through the New Brunswick Association of Chiefs of Police to provide shift relief for our officers over the next week to 2 weeks so that they don't have to return to active duty while we work through this next few weeks, which will be very difficult. I'm going to turn the floor over to Deputy Cadet to fill in some of the operational details that I'm sure you're interested in learning. But please join us in thought and prayer for the families, for the friends, for my officers who were involved on the front line today, responding to this tragic incident. And we really do appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Chief. So this morning, on August 10th, around 7:10 in the morning, Fredericton Police responded to a report of shots fired outside the apartment buildings in the 200 block of Brookside Drive. 4 people were killed, including 2 Fredericton police officers. Police initiated a lockdown of the area and set up a perimeter. The New Brunswick RCMP, Fredericton Fire Department, Ambulance New Brunswick provided great assistance. Officers engaged with the suspect and shots were fired by police. Around 9:30, Fredericton Police Force entered an apartment and arrested a 48-year-old man from Fredericton. He was taken to the Dr. Edward Chalmers Hospital and is undergoing treatment for serious injuries. The names of the 2 victims, civilian victims, have not been released pending notification of next of kin. I can confirm that they were an adult male and an adult female. Obviously, this is incredibly difficult for our officers and for our community. No one ever wants to lose a colleague or friend, especially in this kind of situation. Our police officers have conducted themselves in a professional manner and will continue to do so through the investigation. The investigation is continuing to determine exactly what happened.
We'll now hear from Chief Superintendent Ross White from the RCMP.
Bonjour, je suis le surintendant principal Ross White. officier responsable des enquêtes criminelles et des services de première ligne à la GRC au Nouveau-Brunswick. Au nom de la GRC, je tiens à offrir nos sincères condoléances aux familles et aux amis des victimes et à nos collègues de la force policière de Fredericton. La force policière de Fredericton a demandé au groupe des crimes majeurs de la GRC au Nouveau-Brunswick de leur aider avec l'enquête en lien avec ces homicides. Les enquêteurs ont commencé leur travail en recueillant des renseignements et en interrogeant des témoins. Comme c'est toujours le cas, nos enquêteurs feront preuve de professionnalisme et mèneront une enquête approfondie. Quiconque a des renseignements peut faire avancer l'enquête et prier de communiquer avec la police. Good afternoon. I'm Chief Superintendent Ross White, Corps Policing Officer, Criminal Operations with the RCMP in New Brunswick. I would like to extend my sincere condolences from the RCMP to the families and friends of the victims and our police colleagues at the Fredericton Police Force. The New Brunswick RCMP Major Crime Unit has been asked by the Fredericton Police Force to assist in their homicide investigation. Investigators have begun their work gathering information and speaking to witnesses. As with all investigations, this will be a thorough and professional investigation. Anyone with information that could assist investigators is asked to contact the police.
We will now hear from His Worship Mayor Michael Bryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, Frederictonians, New Brunswickers, and people from across North America that have reached out to me today, including our Prime Minister who called 2 hours ago. We are deeply saddened by the loss of our brave officers today. Constable Sarah, Constable Rob. Protecting us today, they gave their lives. It's our job as mayor, a lot of my council colleagues are here today, as Frederictonians, as neighbors, as colleagues, to now embrace them, embrace their families, and provide all the support that we can and possibly offer in the near future. We keep in mind the 2 civilian victims. Our love and support goes out to everybody. In this community, we grieve together, but we'll heal together as well. Today we saw something tragic. In the near future, we'll see the best of our community come forward. We always do. What I ask is that you provide, again, your patience, your support, your understanding. Patience will be needed as Chief Fitch and her team and our partners in first responder and RCMP partners work on this investigation and bring it to a conclusion. Again, as mayor, it's something I never want to have to live through. I have. I am. We are. As I said, we will get through this together. But now my thoughts turn to the family, the victims, and to healing our community. Thank you for being here today.
And Mr. Premier.
The Brunswickers are deeply saddened by today's tragic event. Our thoughts are with the victims and their families. Les Néo-Brunswickoises et Néo-Brunswickois sont attristés par les événements d'aujourd'hui. Nos pensées sont avec les victimes et leurs familles. We are thinking of the families of the fallen Fredericton police officers, Constable Rob Costello and Constable Sarah Burns. We are also thinking of all members of the Fredericton Police Force. Know that all New Brunswickers and Canadians mourn with you. We thank all the courageous women and men who form our first responders. They are a special kind of person. They put themselves in harm's way to keep all Canadians safe. Merci pour votre courage. Merci aussi aux Canadiens et Canadiennes pour les messages de condoléances et pour leurs pensées. Thank you to all Canadians for their condolences and their thoughts. There's no doubt that it helps those impacted to know that the whole Canadian family We'll be there to support them. Merci beaucoup.
That concludes the official speaker portion. We are able to take a few questions at this time. We understand that a number of questions won't be able to be answered today given the ongoing investigation, but we will open the floor if you do have some questions. There is a microphone available.
Hello, it's Ross Lord with Global National TV. What do you know, or what can you tell us about the circumstances that led to these people who were shot and killed, including the officers? Were they responding to a particular call? Anything you can tell us about that?
So as mentioned, the officers were responding to a shots fired call in the area of Brookside Drive. So upon arrival, they observed some individuals, the two victims, the civilian victims on the ground, and that's when they were shot.
Do you know the timeline between when they received the call and when they responded to the scene?
Those are finer details. The officers responded around 10 after 7 this morning, and then things unfolded from there.
Do you have any other information about anybody else who might have been injured? We're hearing that they were taken to the hospital. Is there any information about that?
Yeah, so it's an ongoing investigation. We don't have any of that information. And, what we have are 4 individuals that were killed, 2 civilians and 2 police officers.
Est-ce qu'on peut entendre en français ce que vous savez sur les circonstances entourant l'appel de ce matin ainsi que l'enquête en cours?
Avec les situations ce matin, l'appel les policiers et policières de la force de Fredericton ont fait déployer un appel vers 7h10 sur la rue Brookside. Lors de leur arrivée, ils ont trouvé 2 victimes. Lorsqu'ils se sont approchés, lors des victimes, ils se sont fait tirer eux aussi. On a 4 personnes de tuées, 2 civils et 2 membres de police.
Est-ce que vous avez l'information sur le suspect qui a été arrêté, c'est en français?
Oui, le suspect est un individu, un homme de 48 ans, ici de Fredericton, présentement à l'hôpital Dr. Richard.
Other than the age of the shooter, are you able to release any information about him?
No, unfortunately, it's an ongoing investigation. It's been turned over to the RCMP. So all we can release right now is the age of the shooter.
Est-ce que c'est possible d'avoir en français plus d'informations sur l'identité des personnes qui ont été tuées aujourd'hui?
Les personnes qui ont été tuées, ça fait qu'on a 2 membres de police, un de Lawrence Robert Costello, un membre de 45 ans, 20 ans de service. Il est son partenaire et 4 enfants. Puis l'autre membre s'appelle Sarah May Burns, 43 ans. Elle a 2 ans de service et elle est avec nous comme auxiliaire pour les 2 ans précédents. Elle laisse un époux et 3 enfants.
Good afternoon, CBC News, Brett Ruskin. Can you just repeat essentially what you said in English, just kind of describing the 2 police officers and perhaps share a little bit more about them? Were they partners? Were they both responding separately to a call? Who were these people?
Well, as mentioned, Robert Costello is a 45-year-old male, 20 years of service, and Sarah Burns is 43 years old and 2 years of service and 2 previous years with us as an auxiliary. The officers, it's around shift exchange, so there's many officers in and around the building at that time. So when the call came in, shots fired, officers jumped in a cruiser and attended the scene. They were the initial officers on the scene.
And following that initial response, what happened afterwards? Officers continued to respond. They got additional calls.
Well, from there, incident command was established, and we set up a perimeter, and we do the traditional police work that we traditionally do by setting up a perimeter, making sure officers understand what's happening, and establish the incident command system. The rest is part of the investigation, so I can't go too deep into it, but essentially, once we realize what was taking place, we have standard operating procedures from there on.
Deputy Chief Michael Staples from the Daily Gleaner. Can you tell us anything additional with regard to the shooter himself? Was he known to police?
You know, all we have at this time is a 48-year-old male from Fredericton. That's all we're able to release at this time. Everything else is, the investigation is turned over to the RCMP, so we're now still in investigation.
Would the call have been classified as a domestic dispute?
I really can't talk about the event. Essentially, the officers responded to the scene, and that's what we said is what took place. The finer details of the call will be determined through the investigation. I'm sure this is not the only press conference we're going to have.
We are going to take one final question, so if there is one final question, we will take that.
Oui, bonjour, j'ai une question par rapport à l'arme du suspect. Est-ce que c'est possible de savoir plus sur l'arme qui a été trouvée sur les véhicules?
Je m'excuse, j'ai pas compris bien la question.
Est-ce qu'on peut en savoir davantage sur l'arme utilisée par les suspects?
Non, je m'excuse, on ne peut pas dévoiler ça, ça fait partie de l'enquête. Je m'excuse.
So again, thank you all very much for coming today. Very difficult day for all of us. Please continue to follow City Fred Police on social media. We'll provide you with as many updates as we can, and we'll be in touch for further press conferences. Thank you.